Hey guys, it's Laura, Laura's Vegan Table. Today I'm making some pasta with white beans, Tuscan kale, and toasted breadcrumbs. It's a really good comfort food dish, really savory, very easy, doesn't take long at all. And I'm getting everything heated up right now, so let's get started. I have my pan that is ready to toast some breadcrumbs. I'm just gonna put a little oil in the pan. And add my breadcrumbs. You can see it's probably a little hot. I'm actually going to put it here. We're going to toast up those breadcrumbs. Okay. And the pan's already been on a little bit of heat, so I don't want to burn them. Be careful not to burn them because I have definitely done that before. But you just have a little olive oil and about a cup of breadcrumbs. I use seasoned, they're lightly seasoned. It really depends because some have a lot of salt, so then you don't want to add too much more salt later. So we'll let that toast. Keep an eye on that, and in the meantime, we're going to get our water to a boil. I'm using a saute pan with about 1 inch of water in it. Of course, you can also use a stock pot and fill it with water and then drain it and make sure to reserve some of the pasta water. But what I like about doing it this way is that you're kind of done in one pot and you don't really need to drain the water, and the pasta water is already in there. So you really don't need too much water to cook a half pound of pasta, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I have my favorite Buona Fortuna pasta that I love. So already getting that going, and I'll show you the toasted breadcrumbs. They're coming along. They smell good already. Really good family meal. And the beans that I'm using, they're cannellini beans. You can use any white bean. But the cannellini beans are just very creamy and are kind of soft to begin with. You can use canned or jarred. That's easier. Of course, you can make your own as well. A lot of times you'll see the same dish with cauliflower. That's another popular way of making it. I know my grandmother and my mom make it that way. My grandma used to always make that. That was one of my favorites that she would make. And my mom would make it for us too, and it was always so good. It just had that nice kind of garlic and cauliflower smell. And it's funny that toasted breadcrumbs were actually known as the poor man's cheese. They didn't have cheese back in the day at certain times, so they would just toast breadcrumbs, add some salt, and it really has a similar kind of flavor with the olive oil, a little extra depth to it. It's really good. Actually, I prefer it that way. I like the toasted breadcrumbs. Okay, so they are ready. Okay, I'm going to take this away, and we're going to add our pasta. Actually, I'll add a little salt to the boiling water. Add a little more. Okay. I have a half pound already here. Put that aside. Okay. So we've got our pasta. And I'm using this cassaruccia again because I had half of it already. And it's just such a nice shape. I really love it. It holds the flavors really well, holds sauces really well. So what I'm going to do now is just put the breadcrumbs aside. They're nice and toasty and golden. And that already there gives it a lot more flavor. Okay, then I'm going to put the pan back on the stove top. And I'm going to add our garlic. I have 4 cloves. Now, actually, I use 6 cloves. You don't have to use that much, but I do love garlic. We love garlic in this house, so put a little olive oil and a little garlic. just for a little bit. You don't want that to burn either. Then what I'm going to do is add my kale that I've already washed and cut, bite-sized pieces. And I'm using the Tuscan kale. It's a very nice bumpy kale. It's also called Dino kale. And I'm going to add that to the pan. Cover that a little bit. And I have the pan on low now just to get it to cool down. And you're really just going to wilt the greens. I have the garlic, that's why I put the garlic in first, finely chopped with a little olive oil. Then you're going to wilt the greens. So I lowered the heat. When I'm able to just kind of toss that around. I use just a bunch of the Tuscan kale. You can usually get it in small bunches at the store. You can certainly use other kinds of kale. You can use spinach. I'm gonna cover that to let it cook a little bit more. Okay, and then we're also going to be adding some red pepper flakes. Just a little bit goes a long way, and it's not too hot, but it's so good. It really does add a little bit more flavor. But that is optional. You don't need to if you don't like too much spice, because they do get a little hot. That's basically done now. Look at this beautiful kale. And the garlic, and it's all toasted and just a little bit more than wilted, but it's just a really nice vibrant color. Then what I'm going to do is add some salt, about a teaspoon. Again, if your breadcrumbs are seasoned, they could be a bit salty, so you might not want to add that much salt. Okay. And then I'm going to add our hot pepper flakes. And maybe about a quarter teaspoon of hot pepper flakes. Okay. Then I'm going to add the beans. Let that warm up together. And these beans, again, they're really creamy. And they're basically a white kidney bean, the cannellini beans, but they're really, really good. I just love beans in general. Okay, just don't want to lose any of that garlic. Okay. All right. Looks like our pasta is almost done. And it looks like I'll probably have to still drain a little bit of the water here, but reserve some. But the pasta water adds the flavor, and definitely when it's a salted pasta water plus the starch in it from the pasta, it adds a little bit of creaminess and a lot of flavor to the dish. So it's really, really good too. Let's see. Done. Al dente. There it is. All right. So I'm actually going to drain just a little bit of the water. Again, if you have a big pot, you can drain the water and reserve it in a little cup or a ladle. But I am going to leave some of the pasta water in there. Maybe just a little bit more. Okay. Great. So now I'm going to add the beans and the kale and the garlic. And al dente is really, what you want to cook it to, because it's going to finish in the pan. I have the heat off at this point, but it's still kind of cooking because it's hot. So look at that, how that comes together. How beautiful. I love it. Looks good, tastes good. Healthy comfort food. It's really, really delicious. So, okay, so now what I'm going to do is add my toasted breadcrumbs. I'm going to stir them in here. Just kind of mix that all around. They're going to absorb some too. But it adds a nice amount of texture and flavor, a little bit of crunch. It's still good the next day. It is so good. Yeah, look at that. Delicious. I mean, I eat a lot of this. This is really one of my favorite dishes. It's so good. And you can certainly add more spice if you would like. That's always a good thing. Okay. And add a little more olive oil. Okay. It's another one of my favorite olive oils now too. Bono Sicilian olive oil. Very good stuff. Has a lot of flavor. Okay, and lastly is our lemon zest. This is really what brings a lot of brightness and vibrance and flavor to this dish. It's really a nice complement. Be careful with these graters too, because I've definitely cut myself on these. But now I'm just adding that beautiful lemon zest. So you just... You can certainly add your Parmesan. I love the Violife vegan Parmesan. That is my favorite. Follow Your Heart also makes a nice Parmesan, but the Violife is that nice wedge, so I like to use that. But I really just like the lemon zest and the garlic and the salt and the olive oil. That for me is usually a nice complement, but certainly, add that vegan Parmesan if you like. And pretty much that is it. Look how pretty that is. Of course, I'm going to taste some. Doesn't that look great? I love it. This is going to be really hot, so I have to wait a sec. Okay. So good. So I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I will put the recipe and the link in the description. And please be sure to follow, subscribe, and I will be posting some more recipes soon, and hope everybody enjoys this video.